I started the recording again is because it's time to start class, but also if anybody had any questions, because this is recorded, and I always forget that people watch it, which is great. So yes, the earthly doors is about drawing up on the pelvic floor. The parallel in yoga is Mula Bandha, right? So the root lock, and you're drawing energy up, right? In any practice, whether you're doing Qigong or you're doing yoga or you're doing, let's say, a Bon tradition, you're just connecting to the energy and drawing it up through your body. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. I should probably offer like a whole class on that, because it's pretty interesting what begins to happen, and that kind of brings me to Kimberly. This is Noga, by the way. Special guest star. What brings me to, I've been thinking about this a lot, because it's been so long until only recently that I've been able to offer practice in person or practice with other people. And when we're practicing and we're using sound, when we do the shake, we're like hum, the hum sound. It's called hum sound. And that's a way of moving energy through us. And so I'm not sure if you guys are utilizing that, how it's working for you. What I would like to do, you don't need that cushion?
I just need a tiny lift.
All right, let's switch. We're switching. Because my SI joint is still kind of messed up from sitting for so long.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. So one of the things that I wanted to share with you guys as just another tool before we move into this formal practice is that same kind of drawing up of energy and utilizing sound. And I remember when I was teaching yoga a while ago, and Noga would join me for class, the way that I would offer it is that we use the Om, right, as we normally do in the beginning and end of a class. Like, I'm sure you guys know that in the beginning of a yoga class, the Om maybe feels kind of discordant, right? Mm-hmm. Like it's not flowing through properly, or the tone is off, right? And then at the end of class, the Om is harmonious. You know what I'm talking about? And it's funny because it's moving through our own bodies. And so the way that I've utilized the Om for myself is like a diagnostic tool. Okay, and we're going to play with that, because the same concept in between each set of movements and when we're shaking is kind of like that. It's using the frequency to move energy through us. Does that make sense? And we gotta go see Geshe Tashi. I was remembering years ago, Geshe Tashi, who used to be His Holiness's chant master, Kenmo, was giving a talk at the Rubin Museum, and he had invited me to attend to also speak on this village in Nepal that we had been helping to rebuild after the earthquake. And Geshe-la was offering some chanting, and everybody's sitting around and he's chanting and I'm listening to him. And all of a sudden, as he's chanting, these mandalas came in my mind, and I was like, oh, that's it. Right? Because that's what sound is. Everything is sound. So we're going to play with that a little bit before we go into some standing postures, okay? So I'm going to encourage you to find your seated mountain, okay, whether you're on a floor or in a chair. If you're on the floor, just as Noga and I are doing, make sure that your hip points are higher than your knees. And then if you're sitting cross-legged or on your knees in a Virasana or Vajrasana, let's do this. We're going to internally rotate the flesh of one thigh and then the other thigh. Okay, so that you have a kind of stronger, more firm connection to your sit bones. And then take a
Jenna,
moment.
is it okay for me to sit on the couch or should I sit on the floor?
If you're on the floor, I would recommend sitting on a meditation cushion.
Okay,
But
because I have,
whatever works for your body right now, yeah? Okay. Take a moment and begin to align your mountain. Okay, so notice if you're overarching your lower back, right? So you want to slightly tuck the pelvis, lift up the bottom ribs. Take your hands to your ribs, get them up off of your hips. Notice if you're leaning forward or back, right? In the same way that when we're doing breath work, you want to try and open the rib cage so the lungs can expand. Same concept here. Broaden the collarbones. Lift up the sternum. Try and find that the right and left eardrum are equidistant from the right and left shoulder as we inhale. And exhale. See if you can find the underside of your right shoulder blade. Now skim your awareness. You know, and if you're not quite sure, like maybe lift your shoulder up a little bit or move it around a little. And then bring your awareness to your left shoulder blade, to the underneath of your left shoulder blade. As we inhale, exhale. And whether you're sitting on a couch or on a cushion, press the edges of your feet into the earth and notice how that movement spirals upward. Also, Gail, if you don't mind, if you could just mute yourself. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to play with the Om and how that is parallel to the Hum. All right. And what I'm going to do is inhale over the back of my skull through both nostrils, draw the breath down around my spine. And then I'm going to hold it just at my belly button as I engage Mula Bandha, aka the root lock, and drop my chin into my sternum, aka Jalandhara Bandha. We're going to do it all together, okay? And then we release the bandhas, the locks, as we exhale out through the crown of the skull, releasing the Om, okay? A fellow teacher, friend of mine, called it the slingshot effect. All right, so take a deep inhale. Drop the chin into the sternum, engage the earthly doors or the root lock. We're going to do that 2 more times. And so what I'm doing is literally kind of spinning the sound up through each chakra and out through the crown of the skull as it rides along the central channel. See how far you can take it. Hey, Mikkel. All right. We're playing with sound right now. We're going to try that again. All right. And it's such a pleasure to have somebody next to me to be doing this with. So again, we're going to inhale through both nostrils over the back of the skull, down the spine, retain the breath at the belly button, engage the root lock and the throat lock, and then release the Om out of the central channel. So deep inhale. Drop the chin down into the sternum, engage the earthly doors. Okay. And notice what you notice, right? Whether there's an energy center that's stuck, maybe even right and left channels are different. Yeah.
We release the earthly doors when we release the chin.
Did you guys hear? This is Noga's question. This is a really good question. Do we release the earthly doors when we release the chin? Yes. Slingshot effect. Okay. So one more time. And again, just kind of notice what you notice. This is how we utilize the Om as a diagnostic tool. And we'll do the same as we move forward. So before we do the third Om, just kind of like draw up on the earthly doors and release. Now draw up on the earthly doors and align the body and keep drawing up. See if you can draw up all the way up into where the trachea branches down. And then up. Okay, it's an energetic, like energy rising. So this is how we're utilizing our own connection and drawing energy up. It's not uncommon to feel a rush of energy, right? The idea is to draw it up through you and out through the crown of the skull. So one more time. So align your mountain. Deep inhale. Engage the earthly doors. Drop the chin into the sternum. And pause and notice. All right, so in the yoga practice, we would then be like, okay, let's say my heart center was feeling stuck, right? So then I would be doing some back bends to open that. If it was the throat chakra that was stuck, perhaps I would be doing shoulder stand, you know, or if there's some energy down here that's stuck, right? We would use different poses to move energy through us. If you do a lot of, you may also notice the side channels, okay? So in that case, like the 9 breaths of purification would be a really great practice for opening those channels. We can talk more about that if you guys like. Does anybody have any questions? Did you notice anything? No? All right. So what we're going to do now is play with the hum sound. All right. And it's a little bit different. It's a little more of a kind of a, it's almost like snapping a rubber band in a way, you know? But let's come and stand and we'll do a shake and then we'll move into practice, standing practices. With special guest star Noga. Let's move our stuff. Also, if you're curious, I definitely and highly recommend doing some research on cymatics and how sound creates form, right? Especially for those of us that are very deeply invested and indebted to the idea of body, speech, and mind. Come closer. All right. So we're going to start off in our standing mountain. If you're not sure what your feet are doing, look at them. So feet are parallel and either together or hip width apart, depending upon the shape of your feet. Come into your mountain, smoothing down the lower back, lifting up the lower ribs. Spread the toes wide. This is actually a really good practice for maintaining healthy feet. Yeah, so check your feet out. And then maybe pick up each toe. So do like big toe. It's so weird what happens with your hands, right? And then middle toe, ring finger toe. Oh man, my pinky toe is not wanting to do what I want it to do. And then do the other foot. There we go. So spread them out and put them down one by one. There we go. Interesting, yeah? Hello, feet. Notice, however, when you do that, the arch pops up. So this is another bandha, another drawing up in our bodies. Also a way of maintaining balance. Bring your awareness to the right edge of your right foot. And then the left. And press on both big toes. Find the arches of each foot. Hands are in the Taiji Mudra right now for a moment. Earthly doors are closed. Heavenly gate is open. Connect to the energy moving up through the earth. Right, the kind of larger bandha. Up through the earth, out through the crown of the skull, and back down again. Connect to the energy of your own heart. It is the same in shape as a black hole, the Taurus. As we inhale and exhale, bring your awareness to the vibrations of your right eardrum and your left. Notice the amount of space between the crown of your skull and the ceiling. As we inhale, exhale, find the underneath of your sternum. Feel your heart beating and how that sound spreads outward through every cell of your body and outward to fill the room. Inhale, exhale, release the mudra. Feel the air on your right palm and your left. Feel the air slipping in between each finger. Step one foot to the right. Actually do that with me one more time. Step back. Okay, and see if you can notice that moment of synapse to movement. Then a connection between the electrical energy of your brain to muscle, tissue, bone. And the consciousness behind it. And then inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale into the sky. Again, inhale. Exhale into the sky, and as you do so, allow the sky to enter you. Each fingertip, each knuckle, wrist joint and elbow, flowing under and over your shoulder blades, filling the spaces of your hip joints, perhaps even washing you with the wisdom and compassion of all of the Buddhas. Inhale, reach up even more. Maybe your heels come up off the ground. You are the human connecting the earth and the heavens, both flowing through you. And perhaps, as you know, one day you will be flowing through them. Turn your palms up, bring your arms shoulder height. Hold the sky in your hands. Bend down to whatever degree possible, keeping the upper body up. Come on, Noga. Inhale, jump up and release. And then, as we were doing before, utilizing the hum sound to move energy through your body. Notice the vibration of heels on the floor. Puttering the lips, shaking everything out. Okay, you can begin moving your fingertips through your scalp. Let your head drop back, run your fingers through your hair. And if you don't have hair, perhaps imagine you have hair. And if you do have hair, imagine that you don't. Give a gentle pull on your imaginary or real hair. Right, remember there was a day when you had none, and there most likely will be a day again when you don't. And then fingertips on the scalp. Okay, and here really activate, feel the crown of the skull, the heavenly gate. It is delicate, it is sensitive. It is how, when we open it, we give birth to our spiritual selves, our higher selves. To the sides of the head. Right, notice the difference, right? The difference in sound, the difference in density. And then you can cup the palms, right? Please don't do it flat-handed, because that's just kind of feels not so good. Cupping the palms, again, utilizing sound. Forehead and occiput. Sides of the head. Puttering the lips, releasing the jaw muscles, coming down the sides of the neck. Okay, remember this is diagnostic preventative care. Your hands are your own MRI. Feel your lymph glands. You can have 2 fingers, bring them up to the sides of the nose. Help clear the sinuses. Right, fall is coming, allergies are coming back. And then I like doing this because my eyeballs get so tired from computer screens. Take your thumbs and run them over the top ridge of your eye socket. Soften the muscles of the eyes. And then, good little trip. Take the palms, the heels of the hands, and bring them into your eyes. Allow the head to come forward. Roll your eyes clockwise and then counterclockwise 8 times. And you may feel fluid coming down through the sinuses, right? That is normal. But that's really interesting, isn't it? How your eyeballs can be useful in your own self-care. When you tend to your eyeballs, they tend to you. And then cupping the ears. Okay, and if this works for you, great. And if you don't like it, some people don't like it, but press into the ears and then away. About 8 times. Right? Kind of restoring equilibrium. You can gently pull on the earlobes. Again, noticing how this drains through the eustachian tubes. Also, many of you may have gotten like seeds taped onto the ears. It's a form of acupressure. So every point, the idea is that every single point on the body has a correlation to the ears. So notice what you notice. And then, just like we were doing before with the sound, notice. Notice if one lung is different than the other. Right? If you have chest congestion, this is a great way to help break it up. And down the front of the legs, top of the foot. Top of the arm. Inside. What we're doing here, right, is ideally disorganizing any kind of habituated patterns in your mind stream and your body. But we're also working with any possible dissociation that people may be experiencing, right? Like this is your body. This is where you are in time and space. For right now. And then let's fan the heart a little bit. Okay. Notice if this is useful for you. If it increases your anxiety, don't do it so much maybe. Right? It's a way of raising energy, opening the wrist joints. Creating some heat. And then what I like to do, which always makes me laugh, you guys know this, I'm going to drop my head back. It's a great way to release the muscles of the chest and the heart. And also because joy is one of the greatest antidotes to fuckery. Opening the hips. You can coordinate breath with movement again. Inhaling, exhaling. Okay, notice your hip joint. One of the most important joints and gates in the body. Go one way, go the other way. Other leg. My left one is so much more open. You could do a little Elvis.
What side is your SI?
All right. All right, and let's do a little kidney heating. So take your hands. So remember the heat of the hands, the fire element of the heart extends into the palms. So rubbing the palms together, making heat. Okay, and then notice what happens if you consciously draw energy up through the earth as well. Inhaling, exhaling, and then inhale. Bring your hands to your kidneys, lift the chest, exhale into your palms. So the sound associated with the kidneys, high hay sound. Okay. I think maybe next week we'll do a little five element seated practice. So again, heat of the heart, heating up the water element of the kidneys. Inhale, hands to the kidneys, lift the chest, exhale into the palms. Perhaps noticing if one feels different than the other. And remembering as well that if you're not noticing anything, that is itself a noticing, okay? So I'm going to share one last thing and then we'll do a little freestyle before we go into raise hands and looking for the moon in the sea. But I like doing this, especially I've been doing a lot of prostration, so my pecs are kind of tight. Take your left hand, let your right arm come forward, reach into that muscle, right where the pec attaches into the shoulder joint, and then kind of just let the arm pendulum. You can even bring your awareness into the head of the humerus. Notice how it's rotating in the shoulder joint. And then go the other way. Kind of interesting. Running into the brachial nerve. And then other side. So kind of lean forward. So notice what it's like without holding on to that. And then take the right hand, hold on to that pec muscle. Ooh, that one is tight. And then go slowly, slowly. Yeah. Again, all tools for self-healing and self-care. So for the next minute, do a little freestyle, okay? I'm gonna, since I have Noga here, and if you're fortunate to have a human being close by in your life at some point, right? Because sometimes we want people around us and sometimes we don't. Noga's gonna go like this, and I'm just gonna do her back body, because until she grows gadget arms, she can't really reach here. We'll stand. Okay, and then we'll do a little freestyle. Right, disorganizing, and then we will reorganize through form. Sorry. That's a pretty good one. That's a really good one. Do that again. All right, and then 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Just stop. Look inside. Can you find your heartbeat again? Notice the shape of the arch of the right foot and the left. Right eardrum. and left. And then inhale. Turn the palms over, step the right foot back to the left. Fingertips face each other, palms face the earth, smoothing down the meridians of the subtle body, coming back to the Taiji Mudra. Okay, the hum sound moving up, out through the crown of the skull, the heavenly gate, like we did with the Om. And then from here, we're gonna inhale, turn the palms up like this, okay? Turn the heels out, and then toes out, and then come down. Yeah, it's like a little dance move. Okay, so we're not as wide as a horse stance. Feet are a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. Right, we all think that we have wider hips than we do. Put a slight bend in the knees. Palms face backwards. We're gonna start with raised hands. So the movement is almost like shaking out a towel or a sheet, yeah. And so from the side, my arms are about shoulder height, a little bit lower, yeah. Okay, and then what I'm gonna ask you to consider doing is extend your fingertips to not just touch the room that you're in, but move beyond it. This is really fun to do on a river, by the way. And then inhale, draw that back. Good, bring your shoulders down a little bit, yeah. Exhale. And then inhale, push down. And exhale. Okay, we're gonna do that a few more times. Slight bend in the knees. Earthly door is closed, heavenly gate is open. Inhale. Pause. Read. Exhale, gather. Inhale. I'm changing the breath pattern. So from here, now exhale, push. See, if you feel comfortable, maybe close your eyes, soften your gaze, and just pick up the cues from my voice, okay? Slight bend in the knees. Earthly doors are closed. Heavenly gate is open. Inhale, raise hands. Pause, read. Exhale, gather back into you. Pause. Inhale, push down. And exhale. So behind me is white Tara, Buddha of compassion, and she has eyes in each palm, the soles of her feet, and at her third eye. She sees with infinite compassion. Imagine that as your being, as you inhale. Exhale. Pause. Inhale here. Exhale, push down. Notice whatever mantra arises. Perhaps may all beings everywhere be free from pain and suffering. Exhale. Inhale. And may we all do something about it. Again, inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Notice how your body is moving through space and time, and notice how space and time is moving through you. What is your intention? Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Pause and notice. Inhale, step the right foot back to the left. Draw the arms around, coming back into the Taiji Mudra. And then release. So that's raise hands. There's so much that happens in that seemingly very simple movement. Yeah. So from here, we're going to step out, come into your horse stance. Okay, your horse stance can be as wide and as deep as you feel called to do, right? Again, but with creating no harm for yourself. If you can, parallel your feet, yeah? And if you can't, that's cool too. Might be just the shape of the acetabulum, meaning the head of the femur. All right, also, I'm going to end like 2 or 3 minutes early because Venerable Rabina is teaching after this. Good. Nice horse stance, Noga. Okay, make sure you're not overarching your lower back. So do that little thing, yeah? Lift up the lower ribs, drop the pelvis, tucking it under a little. Okay, I'm going to show you what this looks like. Some of you guys are familiar with this. It's one of my favorite practices. Palms come up. I make a triangle and I frame the moon in that triangle. Also the third eye, inhaling. I allow the light of the moon to fall onto my palms, moving through my wrists and shoulders. And then I turn my palms to have that light reflected upon my face, eyes, body, speech, mind. Coming forward, I reach forward. I have a flat back here. This is kind of nice if anybody's got some lower back issues. And then I imagine I'm standing on a body of water. I trace the reflection of the full moon with my fingertips. Okay. If you're not as flexible as Noga here, you can bend your knees. And then inhale, exhale. Draw the light of the moon into your body to nourish each organ. Washing it with grace and wisdom. And then we come back again. Okay, we're going to do that a few times. So frame the moon in your palms. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Turn your palms to face you. Feel all of this light and grace nourishing, filling your eyes and mouth, your throat, on your heart. Come forward. Trace the moon in the sea. Inhale. Perhaps you feel the wetness on your fingertips. And exhale. cupping that grace, wisdom, compassion to wash over every cell of your body. And again. So hands in front of you a little bit. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, turning your palms to face you. Slowly, slowly, slowly coming down. And forward. Trace the moon and the sea on the inhale. Exhale. You can bend your knees and then draw all that into you. And again. So we'll come up. We'll do 2 more. Actually, maybe, let's just do 3 more, but slowly, slowly, okay? And every once in a while, check out your alignment, yeah? Check out your lower back, earthly doors are closed, heavenly gate. Perhaps the eyes and your palms and your feet are wide open. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, turn the palms to you. And exhale slowly, slowly. Inhale, trace the moon and the sea. Exhale, draw it into you. And again. Frame the moon between your palms. Feel its wisdom and grace flowing into you. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. So we'll do 1 more. And if you feel called to spend time moving your palms over one body part or another, you know, perhaps your lungs or your intestines, you know, attend to yourself. Last one. Frame the moon in your palms. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And we'll just pause right here, actually. The hands are at the ready position. Sometimes the interesting thing to notice is who arises in the reflection of the moon? Or what? Remembering as well that the mind creates all of it. So inhale, step back, watch out for the flags. And again, coming back to the Tai Chi Mudra. And release, turning palms up to feel the energy of the heavens. And then down to feel the energy of the earth rising up to meet your palms. And then hands to the human. Feel the muscle, tissue, bones, life. And we'll just, we'll come into sit to close it out. How's everybody feel? That's great. It's such a lovely practice. So that's looking for the moon in the sea. And I've been doing it for so many years, but every time like it just evolves and there's some more nuance and you know what I mean? So I really hope that you guys can utilize it for yourselves. Such a pleasure to share practice with you. And I hope one day we can all do it together in person. And maybe in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
I'm coming.
All right, awesome. We're gonna make that happen. We just planted the seed. All right, so the formal closing. This is the earth, the heavens, and the human. May all beings everywhere be free from pain and suffering. And indeed, may each one of us do something about that. Such a pleasure to be with you guys. I will see you next week and perhaps in Rubina's class, which I highly recommend people take if you can. All right, please take care.